Hi, this is Daniel James. I've just got finished doing the level Blockout for our demo level for Knockoff. And I thought rather than just take lots and lots of screenshots and write lots of words to explain what I've done, I just record a quick video to show it off because that should be easier. So this is based on the level diagram that I did in my last post. And I've basically started out making it one-to-one from that, but during the process of building it, I decided to make a bunch of changes basically. Something didn't feel right, something didn't look right, the proportions were off, it needed more space, things were a bit boring, something needed tweaking. I just did that, and I'm going to continue to as this gets tested in gameplay. I'll continue to make changes to it and tweaks to it. But for now, this is the baseline thing. It's all just geometry, no functionality. It's just to show where everything will be, where everything will go. Once we get the functionality of the level in, then I'll revisit it and probably make some changes. So starting out, we have our spawn zones. These are obviously where the player characters will spawn. These are these pillars in green. So when the game starts, one player will be spawned on top of each of those. This big blue zone down the bottom, that's the danger zone. That is going to be the water. It's if you fall off, you get knocked into the water, you get eliminated, and you have to respawn. Simple as that. You've got the kind of primary route to the centre of the map is this way. So you'd spawn here, run along this regular platform. If it's in white, it's largely a regular platform, except for these ones. If these ones are the text, that's instructions for our programmers to how I want these to behave. These are going to be moving platforms. So this one says it moves 5 in its x direction, which is this way, and then back, and then negatively as well. So it's going to move back and forth, moving at 5 units per second, like this, as you'll be able to see my mouse doing, hopefully. So that's that, and this second one will do the opposite, move in the opposite direction. So even just the basic route will require you to do some platforming. You can't just run around freely. This is a platformer first and foremost. And you have the coins, these bronze coins, which are the lowest value coins, leading you along that route as well. But it is the easier route to follow, which takes you to the centre of the map, where you have this little kind of semi-arena thing. These walls were originally here before I raised this bit up higher than the spawn zones. The walls were here to prevent you from shooting straight through, but I don't think that's really necessary now. They're just kind of there decoratively, and to make it look as though they're holding up this kind of roof thing. Again, I was considering putting on some kind of way of getting on the roof and there being something going on up there, but right now I think it's fine. I didn't want to overcomplicate things. In here we have this yellow is an objective marker. So in the race game mode, there's a bunch of them scattered around the level. So you've got one in the middle. These low platforms here have each got one, and then these faraway platforms have each got a smaller one. So in the race game mode, those will randomly activate. Starts with the middle one always, for fairness sake, and then each subsequent round, one of the other ones will randomly activate. And you've also got a power up right in the middle. This will be a big power up, big expensive one, and so the idea is that players will be encouraged to go from their spawn zone through the easiest route possible, and then have a fight over this central power up and the central race objective if it is in race mode. We've got some slightly more high value coins here, the silver ones, around the edge of this high platform. That's to encourage players to kind of take some risks and move out to the edge here to try and get the coins, which obviously makes it more likely they're going to get knocked off. Also, these edge sections are icy blue to indicate that they are a slip platform. So we'll hopefully be able to have you having reduced traction on those, so you kind of slip and slide around, which makes it a little bit risky. And yeah, that's kind of the central portion. Off to the sides here, we have, again, more instructions for the programmers, just to give these behaviour. Similar to these ones that move side to side, but instead these guys go up and down by 15 units, at the same rate though. And up to 15 takes you up to kind of this level here, I believe. And it takes you down to being in line with these, which is kind of the safe way to get down to those. Or you could just jump, there's no full damage or anything in the game. Now we get down here to this lower level. This, right now, is quite sparsely populated. It's kind of a rarely used area. You kind of want to go out of the way to get this. But I might put something more in here at some point if we feel it's lacking. But what we do have here, which is a little bit interesting, are these launch pads. So what these will do is, when you step on them, they'll explode and launch you up into the air. So the idea is you would use that to get back up onto anything. I mean, you could wait for one of these platforms to come back down to be level with you and then just jump for safety's sake. But these are a little bit more interesting way of getting back up. Undecided on how explosive they'll be, but I'm thinking currently that they'll be explosive enough that basically this one will be able to get you all the way back up to here, and so all the others will be equally explosive. So you probably be able to use this one to land back over there, and use this one to get up there somehow, and yeah, so on and so forth. Speaking of over here, we've got these kind of edge sections. Now these, you could use good movement, basic skills to kind of get to them from anywhere. That's the thing about the game, is that it'd be high enough mobility that you should kind of be able to jump around all over the place. But if you want to be safe, the easiest way would be to get onto this and then wait for it to move kind of over here, and then it's only a little jump onto these beams, which are intentionally thin to again make them risky because they've got these high value coins on them, so they're risky to get to. And you're rewarded if you go really out of your way here, go along these beams, which are a little bit tricky to traverse, and then plonk yourself right on the edge of the map, get a gold coin, which are the most valuable as well. And then you have another objective marker here for the race mode and a power up as well. You'll notice the power-ups and the race objective markers in the same locations. Just because obviously you have the central location, which is intended to bring everyone together, but then you have these other locations which are just a little bit trickier to get to and riskier to place yourself in. So that's the reason they're placed like that. And that's about it for the level, really. It's not too complicated. It's is meant to be reasonably accessible. That's kind of the idea of the game, is that it's immediately fun and silly, and you don't have to think too much about it. So hence why I've avoided putting too many obstacles. I did design a larger variety of obstacles and traps and hazards that we could have put in the level, and we still may do if it's a little bit too easy to traverse. Then we could introduce stuff like pendulums swinging across these beams, potentially, or like a wind machine thing, applying force to you in some location, maybe around in the centre here, or anything like that. There's all sorts that I've designed, which you can check out in the obstacles post that I've done before. But for now, this should do. We'll give it a test. See if it's fun. If it's too hard to traverse, we can make it a little bit simpler, make the platforms bigger, make them move around less. But if it's too easy, then we'll make things a little bit trickier. And maybe it's too dull. Maybe there's not enough going on. At which point, I could add in some more platforms, maybe some lower ones around here, maybe some higher ones that get you onto the roof there. make it larger, make it smaller. These are all things that can be tweaked in testing, but these are also things you can't really know theoretically. This is something you plan out, but yeah, until you actually play it, there's no real way of knowing how it's going to turn out. So I'm going to have to wait and see how that goes before I can finalise this. But this is my current design, as I say, based on the map I drew recently, but with a bunch of tweaks. As I found it was too small and too simplistic in as I was building this. So I've made some additions. But there you go. That's the current map. Sorry for this very informal and off the cuff video, but I just think it'll be easier to explain it in this way rather than have to, as I say, write down all my thoughts and take a million screenshots. So there you go. And there you have it.